Yeah, he's a Geordie. He probably does it topless, right? He did it without a coat on anay.
I was in an aeroplane, stand up, come to the door, and I was jumping out of aeroplanes, and I never landed at one in my life. I'd never been on an aeroplane, and but I had enough money because to get your wings, you had to do 7 jumps, 7 times 8. Oh, that's more than a lot. That and so we I put my deposit down and I got myself the WEM, the
Dominator. Was it the WEM?
This is an incredible story. To get yourself into rock music, you parachuted 8 times. 7 times.
No, but actually it was with 33 altogether.
To buy an amp.
I had to make payments. I was only getting £2.17 shillings and sixpence.
But that is so Geordie, Brian, because that is literally the hardest way of getting an amp I've ever heard of. I jumped out of a plane 33 times.
It's like Chuck Norris, if he was going to be in a band, that's what he would do, right?
There was no other way, and I was desperate. And, and from there, I joined a couple of other bands until Vic Malcolm, good old Vic Malcolm. And there were a band called USA, Tom Hale and Brian Gibson, and I asked us if I'd come along. And honestly, it was by this time I was a draftsman at Parsons. I'd passed exams and shit. I thought I was clever enough, and I was only there 6 months, and we made a demo. And Vic Malcolm and Tom Hill took it down to London. Honestly, they just went down to Wardour Street and banged on, walked up these stairs to Red Bus Records and said, "Here, we've got a demo." And they said, "Put it on." And they said, "Oh, I like that. We'll sign you up." I couldn't believe it. And the next thing I know, they said, "Right, you're going to have to leave work. We're going to go down and make a record." And it was strange.
You were a lion tamer by this point, I presume.
Was this connected with Red Bus Studios on Leeson Street?
Yeah, that was it. Red Bus Studios.
Right.
There's a bunch
that came up in our last one. Brian, so who was on the scene in Newcastle then when you were doing that? Who else was playing? There must be, was Brian Ferry around yet, or anyone like that?
Well, Johnny Miles. John Miles was.
Okay, yeah.
And there was a band. Who else was it? John Miles and.
But not Brian Ferry, no.
Brian Ferry was. He was down in London and they were just, the Pajama Rama came up or something like that, and I think it was just about that time, or maybe 74, 73.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be at least 73, 72, because I saw you in 73 at the Palladium.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's right. 73 was then, so it must have been just after that. But I remember that night. It was packed. There was cops everywhere downstairs, and we just finished and we'd gone round to the sides to watch. And Noddy came out, his hat with the mirrors on. Remember?
Yeah, the top hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was wearing one as well in the audience, probably.
Yeah. No, but I was just blown away by this guy. The musicianship of the band was just. It was really good.
But I've seen a photograph of that gig, and there's no monitors on stage. No. So I don't know how anyone. How did you even hear yourself singing?
I think you just sang louder.
But you and Noddy both have that same thing, don't you? Of just being just like 0 to 60, and then at 60, you're just at 100 miles an hour non-stop the whole way through.
Yeah,
which is an extraordinary.
Yeah, he's exceptional. Old Noddy. I've always loved the way he put a song together, with his voice, and he can be the other side now. Some of the songs they did for every day when I'm away,
thinking of you,
every man. So I thought they were a good all round band, and never.
What you have. I suppose Noddy had it as well, but you have it on millions and millions of records. You occupy that space that's way above the guitar. So with most bands, the singer's singing in the same register as the guitar. But with what you did in Geordie, and certainly what you do in AC/DC, is you're all living in very separate aural spaces. So you can hear the drums, the bass. Guitar is as clean as anything because your vocal is way away from it.
Although I would say that it seems that after, because I've been listening to Geordie all afternoon, by the way. Great, fantastic bass playing, by the way. Great bass playing on that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. And but it seems to me that when you joined AC/DC, you jumped an octave.
Well, that was what Langer in the studio. I didn't realize I could do that. But now, when we did House of the Rising Sun with Geordie, that was about as high as I think I've ever sung in my life. And then when we were in the Bahamas with Mutt Lang, I realized straight away that this band, and Malcolm always said, he said, one of the reasons, when you came down and sang at the first time with us, I said to them, listen, they said, what do you want to sing about our songs? And I knew if I sang one of their songs, I'd be at a disadvantage immediately. And I said, Nutbush City Limits, Tina Turner.
Mm-hmm.
What? I said, yeah, let's do that one in the key of A. And they went, yeah, are you sure? I said, sure. So we did it.
But they're Australian. They probably know if you meant A or E.
Yeah.
E.
But anyway, and that's where it was. And Mal always said, he said it was straight away that we could tell that you could get above the guitars, which was very important,
But it's interesting that we've jumped to this moment in time when you join AC/DC. But the story that I heard was that Bon Scott had seen you perform in Geordie.
Yes,
and he'd already told Angus about this guy who he said collapses like Little Richard on stage, but apparently you collapsed in real life. Is that right?
It was. I had appendicitis or something.
That's right.
And I was in agony, and it was. I kept singing it, and he was, hey, by Christ, that's a great actor, and of course, and but it was funny. Which took up a bond in the space of an hour, and I never saw him again.
That's incredible.